Hello, and welcome back. I am so excited for today because what I'm going to be sharing today is the key for mega fast growth, like leaps in your growth that also feel aligned and true to you. Because I see a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs who get themselves this fast growth, but then they feel like they're selling their soul for it. They're back to back with calls or whatever it might look like. And on the contrary, there's those people who are really trying to stay in touch with their soul. And so they're not hitting that fast growth. But what I'm going to share with you here now is how you get to do both, how you get this quick, accelerated growth that is aligned, true to you, and feels incredible. So, this is all about turning those breakdowns, those rock bottom moments, into those moments that your absolute breakthroughs. Now, there are different types of lows, and I'm going to be sharing you some of my experiences as well, because anyone who knows me will know, like, I have been through my fair share of lows, and I think that's a lot of what connects you to me is you get it, you understand, and for me, I've categorized these different lows for you so that you can start to understand when someone is sad or emotional or whatever that might be, is not just one thing. It's not just this untouchable, oh, I can't fix it thing. It's something that you can use as a tool for growth. Like anyone you see who is living their life, who is this magnetic human being, making all this money, living their life, this is what they do. Okay. So the different types of lows. Number one, okay, something might have happened, and that can be catalyzed by something external in your world. So, for example, a breakup, loss, grief, something happens and it sparks this period of lowness within us. We don't always necessarily know it's going to happen. We definitely don't. Life can surprise us and life can have its ups and downs. So, for example, for me, something happened to me when I went through my breakup. And that's a good example of, oh my goodness, this thing is right in front of me. I'm going to have to navigate it somehow. And it's a difficult time period. Like anyone who's been through a breakup knows that, right? Second, depression. And something really important to know about depression is that it's not necessarily, I think when we think about it in our brains, we can think, oh, you're depressed or I'm depressed, and that's just the end of that. But actually, that's not true. There is always a time period attached to that. It's never forever. So that time period could be a solid few years of depression, or it could be a few weeks or a few days. And that just puts it into perspective for us. I mean, there's clinical depression, and that's when it is spanning over a certain amount of time that is going way beyond like a couple of days of feeling down, but knowing that it has this time limit, we can't necessarily predict how long that will be, but you can start to alter how you view this to allow yourself to accept that depth of emotion, which when it comes to depression is very much around sadness, hopelessness, reduced energy. That could come from something that happens to you. It could be sparked by something that's happened to you, or it could just be a buildup of things that actually lead to this depression. I had it with one of my friends recently. It was last year, and we realized, what, she's going through this period. It was over a couple of weeks that we'd started to notice this low mood wasn't going anywhere, like it was still here. But as soon as she accepted that and accepted, okay, this is where I am right now, it allowed those emotions to move through her. Like remembering that emotions are simply energy in motion. We are supposed to feel them. we're not supposed to be happy all the time. That isn't actually the goal. That sense of fulfillment and trust in life is the goal. And that's what can reduce those time periods of feeling depressed. And then there's the third one, and that is anxiety. So a lot of people talk to me about anxiety, and we can understand this as like nervousness, as worry, dread. It can be a real feeling in your body sometimes. And again, this can be from an underlying niggle, things that are really bubbling up to the surface and affecting your day-to-day life. But again, with it, it doesn't have to be something that you own and say, my anxiety, oh, this is forever. You know, for me, once I understood, okay, these are feelings that I'm feeling right now, they're anxious feelings of anxiety, we can call it that, I was able to accept it and let it go. And that's why you see me saying, you know, I used to have panic attacks. That was something that I experienced around 3 or 4 years ago now. I used to. I haven't had one since, because I accepted, okay, this is what my body needs to do right now. These are the feelings I need to feel, this anxiousness. And then it turned into, okay, I don't have to feel this all the time. I can get myself out of that. And this has been my absolute greatest, like, magic wand in my life, is being able to transform these low moments pretty quickly, relatively, into breakthroughs and to breakthrough moments. So how can you do this too? I'm going to dive into it more and more, but please let me know, like, drop me a message right now, pop it in the comments. Let me know, how is this landing for you right now? Have you been through something similar? Because I've experienced all three, but this is something that I've learned to embrace. And it's now something that I am calling something new, you know? And if you know me, you'll know this is why I grow so quickly. This is why my clients grow so quickly. This is why we get the results, and you see, like, it's like this magnetic energy of everything coming together, because of this new way of framing it, which I like to call a growth low. Okay, this is a low that comes when you are about to grow. This is so important to know, because if we look at the neuroscience as well, I'm constantly going through this in depth with my clients in terms of their specific scenarios. But if you look at the neuroscience of how you are wired, you start to understand that we have neural pathways that have been formed over many, many years throughout our lifetime. This is what shapes our beliefs. They come from our experiences, and when our brain is at its most palpable, when we are between the ages of 0 and 8. Majority of these are formed, but then our brain becomes more palpable again when we go through a significant experience, trauma, for example, or a big breakup. It doesn't have to be, you know, one of those taboo subjects. It can just be anything that happens to you in your life that significantly affects you. Now, if we want to grow, we need to leave behind our old beliefs, our old thoughts, our old ways of being. So imagine this, right? For me, one of the big things I started to notice was, you know, when I first started my business, I was all about, you know, I was experiencing these fluctuating levels of income. Okay. And if you're watching this and you're experiencing it too, this is going to be a game changer for you, because I was experiencing fluctuating levels of income, highs and lows. And that's what became my norm. So if you look at my biological being and how my brain was wired, those neural pathways started to become safe and familiar to me, which is how the brain is wired, for safety, for familiarity, which equals survival. And so it felt, even though it felt dysregulating and I didn't like it, I didn't like this fluctuating level of income, but biologically, it felt safe. It's a pattern. And it can take a lot to admit that to yourself. So maybe you're watching this now and you're like, oh no, it's not in my biology. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. It just is how we are wired as human beings. And so when I decided, oh, I want to change, I want to have consistent levels of income that grow and grow and grow month on month, then I needed to let go of these old thought patterns. Now imagine a deep, deep pathway in the brain is not necessarily a quick flick of a switch. And this is why not everyone does it. Not everyone experiences those big leaps like what I'm experiencing, like what my clients experience. But it is possible through this process. And this is why I've created the Sancti method, because what we do is we start to create new evidence toward this new belief. And if you want a quick way of doing this, write down all the reasons why you can do exactly what you want to do, why you can earn exactly how much you want to earn, grow exactly how much you want to grow, because this is creating new evidence for you, and it will help that neural pathway to switch away from the old familiarity of fluctuation and toward the new familiarity of consistent high level growth in any area of your life. Okay, a lot of information. Now, for me, when I started experiencing this and going through this transition, I'll keep going with this example of the income. I started to notice resistance. And resistance is the first sign, because the reason I talk about this is resistance will come first. You will move past the resistance and then the emotions can come. So it's like this 3-part process. You know, a lot of people stop at resistance. You know, they go to the gym once or for a week or whatever, and then the next week comes along and they think, oh, I'd rather stay in bed. Those people are staying past in the resistance. They're not going past it. You, however, are here for a reason. You are here because you care, because you are here to create a positive impact in the world, because you are motivated in more for you, more for this planet, more for the people you work with. And so you're the kind of person who moves past that resistance and goes to the gym anyway. Or in business, moves past the resistance, does the thing anyway. Once you start doing that, you are on your way to growth. But what will happen at the next phase is your biological mechanisms will kick in and say, whoa, 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 what is going on? We are used to not going past resistance, and suddenly we're doing all these new things. This doesn't feel safe. Please go back to what you were doing before. And that is your neural pathways. They're strong. They're ingrained. You've been doing this for years. So if you want a new one, it's going to take commitment. But also, when these emotions flag up, when the body is signaling, whoa, 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 this doesn't feel safe, you know what that is? It's an invitation to make it safe, to accept and acknowledge those emotions, those quote unquote breakdowns, as part of what will be your breakthrough. Now, a lot of people feel like they've failed at this point. The temptation kicks in and they want to go back to sitting in the resistance and not going through it. But you, my friend, you and I, we're not going to do that. We're going to meet that resistance again and again, move through it. And then when the emotions come, which they will, the feelings, the self-doubt, because they will happen just as you are about to have a breakthrough. That's how we are biologically wired. So if you can start to notice, oh, hang on, these emotions are here because I'm about to get where I want to get, then it gives this whole new level of acceptance, which is all your emotions want, it's all your body wants, is to accept those emotions. So let this sink in for a moment. And remember that this comes up through resistance, and what you resist the most is what you need the most for your growth. But also, there's a level of acceptance of your emotions and looking after yourself that is also required as you do this. And this is why, for me personally, in my process in the sanctity method, this has been what has allowed me to move to Ibiza, to create my dream business, to run sold out retreats, to do everything I want. Because I'm looking after myself emotionally as I am growing. And so here's an invitation for you to do the same thing, to notice that when you feel that self-doubt creeping in, to know that this is because you are on the edge of a breakthrough. It's literally your body, your biological mechanisms kicking in to let you know that. And so all you need to do then is start to create that safety in this new level of being. So if it's for you, let's keep the example of the income. Allowing yourself to feel safe, to receive, to feel safe, to be abundant. Now, when I say safe, I mean, I'll share with you some things that came up for me, because when I was grieving, and this is kind of what it's like grieving, right? Grieving an old way of being, because we are shedding layers to become the person we want to be. If I didn't shed my layers from that woman, that young woman who quit her job, age 23, if I didn't shed that layers, I would still be that scared 23-year-old right now. But I'm not, because I let parts of her go. I brought parts of her with me, but I let a lot go too. And so recently, this has come up for me again, and I want to be so transparent with you, because this is going to come up for you, it's going to come up for me, because we are growing, because we care, because you are here to make an incredible positive impact in the world, and that comes from being heart-centered. And if you're heart-centered, you're going to feel stuff, and that is perfectly okay. But that's what I've been going through recently too, because I'm about to level up again, to go to the next stage of scaling my business. And so what's happening, because I care so much, because I'm here to create a movement of people who are stepping away from the old ways of grind and lose your soul towards the new ways of align and feed your soul. And so, of course, I'm going through these emotions, constantly shedding layers. And I want to be so crystal clear with you about that. Because if you want it all, you are going to go through this. So I've been grieving that old part of me, because as I'm leveling up again, as I'm scaling my business again, it's a case of my body, my subconscious, that needs to get on board with this. Because when my subconscious gets on board, I become unstoppable. Same for you. When your subconscious gets on board, you become unstoppable. But what does this look like? Being hyper aware. And this is why the deep work that I do with my clients is just as important as the business strategies, the systems, the processes. Just as important. Sometimes even more important. And so for me, that looks like being hyper aware of, okay, my nervous system, my subconscious, my inner child is looking around and thinking, oh my goodness, if I'm at this next level of growth, if I'm a woman who is scaling her business, then where do I fit in? And it's sometimes finding a new place to fit in within friendship groups, within family units, being okay to be the first person in your family to break a chain, to be financially abundant, to be living abroad, to be in new circles of people and business. And so there's part of me that isn't coming with me anymore. I'm letting that old version of me go. I'm finding the new ways to fit in a way that serves me to hit this next level. And it's sad because we don't like change. You know, when you grow, you change. People don't like change. But change is growth, and growth is change. So let's support each other with it. You know, I will say as well, similar with relationships. And this is really deep. So you're really getting to know me a little bit here. But it is the same with relationships. I had it about 6 months ago. And I really grieved that inner child of me, that needy part of me that kept seeing someone who wasn't fulfilling my needs. I had to let that go. I had to let her go to create space for the woman that accepts nothing less than 100% what she wants. And it happened through practice. Going through that resistance, saying no to meeting someone who I wanted to meet, but I knew another part of me, that part of me that wanted to meet them was the inner child of me who wanted the validation. But there was another part of me that trusted my vision, that does trust my vision of a partnership that fulfills me in every single way. And that is the woman who trusts. And so if you want to grow, you have to be that woman who guides the child to accept the part of you that wants to choose the thing that's bad for you. No, okay, I accept you. I understand you. I understand why. That part of you that wants to stay stuck. Because stuck is safe. It's what you're used to. When you suddenly start to become so free, it can be emotional. So accept that part of you, okay, that wants to be stuck. And show that part of you that actually this new way is safe too. Step by step. Emotions will come up. And this is what I mean by it's a sign of growing. Okay? It's not always pretty, but it's 100% necessary. And if you want the growth financially, the freedom in your life, and for that to be really fulfilling and not feel like you're selling your soul, then this is what we need to do. This is the exact process. And it is the secret. It's the thing no one tells us, that this resistance, this fear, these emotions are part of the process. And you know what? I really wanted to hide. I really wanted to hide. I didn't want to share this part of me because I'm the one that is happy and bright and makes everyone else happy 99% of the time. But I'm growing too. And my clients, of course, they want a mentor who is growing, because then we're all constantly growing. And so for you, I know to serve you best, to give you the best value, it's important that you see this part of me too. this part of me that literally yesterday took the day off because I knew I needed to rest. I knew I needed to be with these feelings, these emotions that weren't necessarily me feeling sad about something in particular, but me allowing myself to go to this next phase of growth and allowing the emotions that came with it. And I was crying a lot. And if you know me, I do cry a lot. I'm also Cancerian, so that kind of explains a bit of it. But that's my strength, is that I can cry, I can let it out, because when I let it out, it's not in anymore. It's not repressed, it's not controlling me. I'm in control. And you are too. And for a woman, there's an added layer of complexity that we have a cyclical nature as women and fluctuating hormones. We're not supposed to be the same emotion all the time. We're supposed to go through a cycle every single month to learn things, to use this in our power, not to see it as a limitation, but something to raise us to the next level. And so I hope that this really hits for you. I hope you take this on board. I hope you watch this many times if you need to, so that it really sinks in, because this is such a key part of growth, one that will take you to the next level and again so quickly. If you can do this, if you can follow this process. I appreciate you for being here. I admire you for your strength. Please do feel free to send me a message. I love hearing from you. If this resonated with you in any way, please share it. And until next time, I am sending you so much joy, so much love from my corner of the world to yours. Have a wonderful rest of your day.